Hey guys.
Hello, welcome everyone. Fantastic. Hey, a bit different today. I thought this is like a blast from the past to me because today we've got a guest on who is someone that was, I think, when I first started being part of the community, the guitar building community online, one of the people that I was chatting to possibly the most. Although it seems like a distant memory because that was 5 or 6 years ago now, I think. We've got Spike. Hi, Spike.
How
Welcome.
you doing, man? How's everybody? Hope
So
everybody's
Spike,
doing well.
yeah, Spike, we're going to find out a bit more about who you are and what you do in a minute. But just a reminder, anyone that doesn't know, this is Alan from Rough Boy Guitars here. Mark. Oh no, I pressed the wrong button. Sorry, got double speech then. Mark Gutierrez there. Spike, you are now Sparkle City Guitars, but I know
Well,
you as the Frugal Fixer. What?
my channel is still Frugal Fixer Spike, but I figured if I was going to make a guitar and somebody was going to buy it, having the name Frugal Fixer on your guitar is probably not going to be very marketable.
I see. I love
And
it. I love
and
the idea of that ethos. But yes, if you're making a fine
but
machine.
Sparkle City is the nickname for Spartanburg, which is the big city next to me. And that's where the band the Sparkle Tones came from back in the 60s. And then the Marshall Tucker Band came from there later on. You know, that's where their hometown is. And well, there's my old job passes where I used to work for them. So anyway, I done guitar tech for them for about 8 months. And that was long enough. That life is not for me.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Especially if I was going to stay married. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. So,
I've been asking people that have joined us recently because we had people joining us from all around the world just to tell us a little bit about where they are. So where is Spartanburg? Whereabouts is that?
I am in the upstate of South Carolina. So I'm just about as far in South Carolina up as you can get away from the coast. The next place above me is Asheville, North Carolina, which is about 45 miles above me up the mountain. But we're heavy. Well, I'm kind of out in the country. I got peach trees that way and that way, but a lot of them are getting cutting down and getting new neighbors. I used to have 23 acres of peaches in front of me. Now I got 40 houses across the street. So, yeah, life changes. I've been out here in the country about 16 years. I spent most of my life in South Carolina. I spent 5 years in California after I met my wife. My camera has done that. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I put my hand up and the camera went crazy here. Okay,
sneak peek of your
yeah.
woodshop.
I made the camera do something stupid, but yeah. But I spent 14 summers in Nome, Alaska, gold prospecting, and kind of that was the thing I done a lot of. But my back's done give up, you know, and so from riding the trails in Alaska and doing all that digging and all the work I've done, yeah, I'm a master plumber is what I've done my whole life. So I've spent a lot of time in the dirt and a lot of time climbing and going under things I'm not supposed to be and picking up things that are a lot bigger than I'm supposed to move. And all of that really works on you over time. So, and I'm 68, so I guess I'm the old man of the crowd most likely most places I go nowadays, it seems. So, especially in the guitar building community, I think I'm becoming one of the elder statesmen dudes, you know. I know there's a lot of them old acoustic guys that are real old that build acoustic guitars, but don't seem like electric guitar guys are that old normally. So, yeah.
That's an interesting observation. Yeah, because I think you're right. Possibly acoustic guitar builders are older because maybe they've got more patience. But there are a lot of young people getting into guitar building, which I love.
Yeah, my ADHD is my problem. I can't make decisions. So I'll get started on a guitar and I'll say, darn, I'm going to finish that, and then I'll start another one. Oh. And I had a slab sitting here, and I said, you know, that slab, I just need to cut it up because it's big, it's in the way, I need to do something with it. And so I cut it up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I got six guitar bodies and that one-piece bass guitar out of the same piece of wood. Excuse me.
Now look,
that one-piece bass guitar, the same piece of slab of wood. So 2 slabs, got that bass guitar and 6 bodies.
I think we're probably going to be jumping around a bit today, but are they the bodies that I saw in one of your recent videos? And by the way, I'll link your YouTube, etc., in the description.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, the stack of bodies you seen, that's what I call the 58s.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Can you tell us about that? Tell us about that.
Well, I decided that my birth year was probably the biggest year ever in guitars. So, I mean, the 335 come out in 58. The Jazzmaster come out in 58. On the Gibson line, you had the Modern, the Firebird. What wasn't the Firebird then? It was called the Futura, and the Flying V were all released that year. So it's the biggest year ever in guitars, I would think. So, I said, well, if there's ever going to be a challenge and something I want to do, I think this is going to be it. And the whole point was I started off with a Gibson template, basically in a Gibson neck layout. But then once I got started, I said, some of these are a little heavy, so I think I might lighten some of them up. So I'm going to lighten some of them up, take a bunch of weight out of them, put some nice tops on them, and I'm not going to finish them to look like a 58. It never was the intention to look like an original guitar. It was just build that year, So, I'm building a Modern, which is the craziest looking guitar most people have ever seen, but I love it. I don't know why in the world it never took off or why they didn't sell a zillion of them. Maybe it was before its time, is all I can say. So, it's probably the favorite guitar I'm working on as far as the body shape and the neck shape and everything. Ooh. So it's sitting right over there, but that's just one I'm working on and I'm enjoying. So, but it was like if you're going to do something, I guess if you're going to do something, go all the way. And having a goal to do was what made it happen. And like this little piece of paper right here, that's got all the Gibsons on it that I'm working on. So the Les Paul Standard, which I'm not doing yet, that's holding off. But the Z35 I'm working on, the Flying V, the Explorer, the Modern, and the Les Paul Junior. I have all of those in process right now. So most of them are stacked up right here. 1 second.
I've got some pictures of it on your Instagram I can share.
Oh, okay.
I've got to say, some people say I'm going to buy a guitar for my birth year, but it feels like you've got an expensive year if you were to actually buy guitars for your birth year.
Yeah. If I was going to buy one of my guitars in my birth year, it would have to be a Harmony or a silver. I don't know if it's silver. Maybe a K or something like that. Maybe, but something that looks like this. I don't know if y'all getting that or not, but the light's a little bright on it. But yeah, something like that. And then the next, this is the one that's got the headstock that everybody says is Gumby, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but that's just one of them I'm working on, and this is excuse me for that.
Hey, let me just share the Instagram page, see if you can see it.
Go ahead. But that's
I'll leave it playing in the background so you can see some of the shapes. Yeah, I saw you had a video up where you were basically cutting them all out of a slab, and at one point you put like a bit of you dampen the surface so you can see the grain better. Did you say it was sycamore?
Yes, sir. It's sycamore. I've had those slabs myself for 4 years. So they've been here curing out for 4 years, and which they were had been kiln drying before I got them. And they were one great big slab that a guy had to make great big tables out of. And the one I got had a split in the middle, and it had broke on him and broke in half. And so I had these two, they were this wide. And he said, well, I said, well, how much do you want for those? And the guy only lives about 3 miles from him, and he told me, and I said, I'll take them both. And so, y'all ready for this? I have $80 in all these guitar bodies.
That's crazy.
Plus the 5-string bass. Yeah, the 5-string bass and all the guitars is $80.
So not to be to distract from the quality of your builds, but that does feel like a frugal build. I like that.
Well, I mean, that was the whole idea. I mean, when you run into that. If I'm going to work on my skills, I mean, I started with GGBO, and that's when I started building guitars. Before that, I think I built everything in the world. I mean, from a BMW plant to a hospital to tinkering toys and stuff around here and all that. Worked on a lot of guitars, tuned a lot, done a lot of repairs, but it built a guitar, never. It built one. And I just decided then that I was going to build that one, and that's called Ambrosia. And I cut that on the CNC machine. And about 2 weeks after I got done cutting it out, the CNC machine caught on fire and I burnt my garage up.
Oh my God, goodness.
Oh yeah, that was it was an eventful year. I guarantee you that. So yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah. So I hate to ask, but does that mean you lost everything there then?
I lost most of my shop. I mean, I burned up the CNC machine. I had my machine that I was making plastic parts for the gold prospecting stuff, and it was in the building and it didn't get hurt. I lost a couple of molds that were wooden and they were in the wrong place and they got burned up. But basically what happened is I was working on the CNC and wasn't using very good dust collection. I was using it, but not very good. And I had a powder coating oven sitting right beside the CNC machine. And the dust from the CNC migrated over into the back of the powder coating oven and got up inside of the control panel where the buttons are, where you mash the buttons and turn it on. And when it got in there, one of my friends was here. He went out to turn it on one cold January morning to warm the room up so we could go out there and work. And he went out and turned it on. He come back in the house and, a minute and a half, 2 minutes later, the smoke alarms were going off. And we ran outside the garage and I could see it glowing in the front. It was like a whirlpool oven that I'd made into a powder coating oven. And like I say, the stuff had got up in the panel. And when the fire inspector come and arsonist guy or whatever, he started looking and he started taking things apart and he took the oven apart. And when he got in there, he started going. I told him, I said, well, it was glowing right here when I come out here and pointed to it. So he started taking it apart. And he got in there and he could see exactly where it had traced across the board, and it had run across the board because of the dust had built up inside the board. So they paid out the claim. And yeah,
I got a small smoke detectors in my shop. I don't have a single smoke detector in my shop. What about you guys? Do you have smoke detectors or fire detectors?
No, I mean, I
2 smoke detectors and at least 3 fire extinguishers I could put my hand on within 30 seconds or 10 seconds, probably.
I've got fire extinguishers.
I have a fire extinguisher, but I don't have a smoke detector yet.
Yeah, I guess I'd need
a lesson.
Ring in the house, because if it rang fire in here.
Yeah, it was a big wake up call to be real smart and be a lot better and safer, and I've tried to do that since then. So,
but Daniel, you run your 3D printers in your shop, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, the 3D printers are in the garage now where I burned up before. So I'm after I burnt the shop up, I built me a new building, and I'm in the new building. It's a 20 by 30 metal building. It's got 9.5 foot ceilings in it. It's got an insulation, got a wall, split unit on the wall. Because it's 94 degrees here today, dudes. I mean, I would not be able to be at the shop working if it wasn't for that. So, and I had moved the golf simulator here when I first started, and I said, nah, this is crazy. So I ended up moving it back and, doing something different. And so the golf simulator now is over in the garage on the side on the house, as you come out the door in the house. And then on the other side, I have 5 3D printers that I use to make all the golf stuff and everything, and keep it all in line. I got this little shipping area, a little cabinet, but I keep all the parts. Not a cabinet, it's a dresser that you slide the drawers up on, and I keep a few parts and tools I need for out there. And it's just kind of a little side business. It's worked out good, but it's kind of run its course for the most part. I think it's not going to go that far, and I really don't want to push making a part for their new product because I don't see a design I like that I really want to make. And plus, I've already started 9 guitars.
Right.
So it's probably not a good time to start back doing that,
So just for talk about golf, I've seen Drop Ray in the chat has mentioned it. I think I'm going to do it as well. definitely gonna have to look up smoke detectors now for my place. I hadn't even considered it. Stupid, yeah. So what?
Oh,
So
well,
look,
yeah,
you
well, closest fire extinguisher is a long way off. Yeah, a long way off. They better bring water on the truck because there's no hydrant anywhere near. You know, it's probably a quarter mile down the road to a hydrant. So
yeah, yeah. Owen just said that about himself, also being quite rural.
yeah,
So look, before we get into the gold things, you mentioned the gold perspective. I remember when I first watched your videos, you also had videos up about the equipment you were making for gold prospecting, panning or something.
right.
And some of it was vacuum formed. Is that right? Do I remember it being vacuum formed?
How about like this?
Yes, that's what I was going to get onto because we ended up having a discussion about guitars and you
Yep.
vacuum formed some guitar bodies. That was it.
That's
Amazing.
a Telecaster I did, and it's got a cherry back, and it's heavy. Some reason I left the wood like a piece of, it's like a chunk of iron. It's in the back of that guitar. It's so heavy. Now over on the shelf up there, I've got a carved top of this. I got one of those I molded, and I've got a back for a harmony over there, and I've also got a back for a Telecaster. And I've done those, and then recently I basically gave that machine away to a buddy of mine that prospects all the time now, and he's got a business where he does that stuff. And I said, you know, I think I want it out of my way because I had another CNC and nowhere to put it. And I said, you know, I think Daniel's a real deserving young guy. I think I ought to give it to him and help him get back in and help his business out. So I asked him if he wanted it. He said yes, and him and his wife come over with a truck, and me and my son helped him load it up. He took it out, and I think he's trying to get it all set up, ready to start working. And you know, it wasn't going to do me any good. I mean, it's going to help him, and he can make money off of it. I'm out of that business now, so I could walk out there and look up on the shelf. I've got a few pieces left that I kept, and I gave him the machine, all the molds, everything. Just got it all out of my way. I didn't want to deal with it. So, and he asked me if there was a patent on anything. I said, no patents on anything. You don't put patents on stuff when you make gold prospecting equipment. And he said, why? And I said, well, because everything you do, and somebody can do themselves and make it. And they're going to copy. And the first one that copies it, if you don't go after them, then your patent's no use at all because anybody can make it after that if you let the first one get away with it. So a patent game is just crazy. You just don't play it. The same way with the golf thing I did. I didn't get a patent on anything.
Yeah.
I've been selling them for 2 years. Nobody's hurt my business by copying my part. I mean, there's 5 other companies that make them now that sell them on eBay and Amazon and everywhere, but I still get my little share and I'm happy. So it doesn't matter to me. So it works.
So as you mentioned it a few times, because I remember as well, like following your guitar building, and then it seemed to be all golf stuff that was happening. But what was it that took you into the golf direction then, and making these things? Like, I remember you setting up a simulator.
My son decided to put in a golf simulator at his house, and he wanted me to help him, and so I helped him get things done and set up and that kind of thing. And next thing you know, I fell back in love with golf. I said, you know, well, this launch monitor is only $500 or $463, and I can hang up a curtain and hit the ball into. So if you go back and look at some of my videos, you'll see that I got a similar, put it under the workbench over here and put a mat here on the floor and hit them into a screen over there against the door. It's basically into a sheet. So, and done that for a little while, and then I kind of brought it around, and now I've got a really nice simulator set up over in the other building that if I want to go play, I can play. But like I say, my back just can't take it. My knee went out about a year and a half ago, and got it back. And feel pretty good, but just do the best I can. So when you get to be my age, you're just glad to get up every day and just keep moving and doing what you enjoy. And right now, I'm enjoying doing this, and I guess that's a good way to look at it. I do what I enjoy, and for a while, I've done yard work, and they've made videos about doing yard work. They said, I guess, well, I'd like to look at it as I've done everything you could do wrong to make a YouTube channel not succeed.
Oh, it's I think it's YouTube is set up so everyone does it wrong, apart from the odd person. Is what it feels like. I mean,
Well,
think about the millions of people that make YouTube channels and the amount of effort people put into it, and how few people manage to make the business work. Really,
as far as getting monetized, it's less than 1%, or like a 0.5% of people that do YouTube that actually get monetized. It's that it's that low. And like I say, I told you earlier, I think I'm 1,600 subs, but watch time is what's killing me. I just don't have it. I don't know if people don't want to listen to me talk, or uh, they don't believe what I'm saying, or they've heard it before, or you never know what it is. But as my wife told me one day, she said, some people you rub right, and some people you rub wrong, and you just have to live with that. I said, I learned that a long time ago. Don't worry. So yeah, do you?
who knows the answer? Who knows the answer?
There's some people that do, but they do this really well, make a lot of money at it, and they figured it out. We just haven't. I haven't anyway. So I looked at one of Paul's videos this morning, and I just laughed so hard watching it. And I enjoy watching Paul. He's such a kick, and I just wished I could figure out. Well, I think it's 24 years or something like that between us, because he's the same age as my children. My two boys are basically a year. One's his age and one's a year younger than him. And it's a different generation, and I understand that. I mean, I'm not, I grew up in a different little world than some of those people did. And, we face things different. Me and my wife were talking about things today, and it's just crazy the things they're different in the world. I mean, I don't know about other places in the world, but when I was in high school, or when I was in school, we had school students that drove the buses to drive the kids to school a lot of times. Like my school bus, the guy that lived 3 houses up the street was the guy that drove the bus on our route. He'd go get up the bus, warm it up, go around, pick up all the kids, drive it to the school, stay all day, and bring us all home, and take it back, park it in his yard for the night. Amazing. Honest to God truth, that's what was happening. And think about it today. Would you think there's any chance that would happen in the world? Not here, I mean, now, but it's crazy how much the world changes. And what do you do about it? You just live with it, guys. Can't change it. I learned that a long time ago. And I don't want anybody to judge me by one thing. The people that run this place, because I ain't got nothing to do with it, okay? I believe that.
I've got to say, when we're talking about the world changing, one thing I like about what you're doing is you just seem to use loads of different technologies, and you experiment with different things. You've got a guitar that you vacuum formed. You're talking about using CNC. You've got a bank of 3D printers on the go. What one thing I wanted to get at earlier on when you were talking about the Great Guitar Build-Off, and that was the first time you actually built a guitar, I wanted to know what it was that made you keep going, and then therefore what's made you come back now and do so, like start that 8 guitars or whatever it is you're doing.
Let me see. I watch the guys on Texas Toast pretty religiously. I enjoy them. And when Paul got coming back, it was a little bit more excitement to think about, things like that. My body just got where, I couldn't play golf competitively anymore and enjoy it. I mean, because I have I hadn't played golf in about, in one of those little tournaments, online tournaments, whatever, in about 6 months. But when I was playing my last ones, I had a handicap of +2. That means I'm 2 strokes below par is what I'm supposed to be shooting. So when you're playing with other people and you're giving up strokes like that, it makes it tough. And then when your health goes down a little bit, your back hurts, well, it's rougher. But I could walk out there right now from 100 yards. I'll play with anybody I can find around here who wants to play. But after that, my old back just can't do it. And we're not going to play long. We're going to play an hour or so, but I won't be able to walk tomorrow. But, that's why I'm not playing much golf. And I come out and do my guitars. And I had the shop out here, and it was ready, and I was doing a little bit of this and that. And I decided that I wanted to get rid of the thermoformer so I had room to work and start moving things around. My son had a CNC machine that he wasn't using, and he told me he wanted to get rid of it. And I said, well, what you going to do with it? And he said, well, I think about selling it. And I said, well, how much? And he said, well, why? And I said, I want it. he said, well, I'm just not going to charge you. I'll just bring it to you. So he brought it over. And when it got here, it was a Bob's CNC. It was built in 2006 from a set of plans off the internet. It had skate bearings in it to run the rollers and made out of pressed board and plywood. And it ran, but it ran slow, and, well, I just couldn't depend on it. So it was about, I don't know how much CNC y'all understand, but it was about 45 inches a minute. It's about the best it could do reliably. And so I took it all apart and rebuilt it and put a new drive system and new, pretty much built it from the table up, rebuilt it, and it runs about 220 inches a minute now. Pretty steady on anything I want to cut. So I'm I learned a long time ago, if you want something, you either buy it or build it or make it. And I didn't figure I had the money to buy it, so I just made it. So.
Well, look, I'll put out there as well that your YouTube channel's got lots of things that you make, jigs and things like that. It's worth watching those. I was looking at your jig you've got where you put your neck on and you shape your headstocks on it earlier.
Yeah, I got one of those. I made one to shape the back of the neck. I use overhead router to do that. So I use one of those big sticks, big roundy bits like that. Or TV again. Here, get back. Hush. Go away. Sorry about that. I forget about that when I do it. I should have it turned off, but yeah.
It's quite cool.
Anyway. But yeah, I enjoyed watching Ben, and Ben got me excited about the guitar, and next thing you know, I built that first one, got to know the community, and got to know Todd, Sweet Tea, and some of the guys. Me and Gio got to be pretty good friends over in Italy. We talked quite a bit. We haven't talked much lately, but I do.
Oh yeah, I saw your gecko block.
I do have a bunch of his bench critters I bought from him because I wanted to help him out. So I bought a couple of sets, and I found a lot of uses for them. Out on the CNC, you can put a bunch of stuff and wedge it up and get it where you want it. And in here, if you want to work on something, you can get it up. But it just works, So, but made a lot of good friends. And the crazy thing is, me and Todd talked on the phone. We've talked a bunch, seen this and all. Neither one of us has ever got to each other's shop. Now you say, well, that's probably not that odd. Well, it might be. We only live 12 miles apart.
Oh, really? I made an assumption that I have for all Americans that you're just very far apart. But
yeah, that's what I was joking to him one day. I said, we only live 12 miles apart. But he's real busy. I'm real busy. And, and I don't get out and go a lot. My wife's, her health is not that great, so I kind of try to stay around for her and watch over things. And, my health ain't the greatest in the world, but I'm getting by and doing the best I can. And I told you earlier, she got security cameras out here so she can watch me, make sure I fell out on the floor. So, yeah, got one in the house to watch her too. Yeah, get old, you got to watch each other. But I'm lucky to have somebody that cares, that watches over me, and I do my best for her too. So, yeah. Somebody said Moonbeam. Yeah, I could be one of them, I guess.
Can I be? Do you mind? Because I know with your setup, you can press buttons and we can see your workshop. Do you mind showing us a bit around? I can make it big on the screen if you want to share.
Let's see what I got here.
We can just see a bit more, and then I can ask a bit more about your favourite processes for building, maybe.
Okay, let me see if I can get y'all over here. Good shot. How about right there? That'll get us started, maybe. Let me get a microphone. You still with me?
Yeah. Oh, you don't have to walk around, but just so we can see it. It's great.
I think I can get out here. Let's see if it works.
Oh, look at that. Look how.
Out here. Okay. I have a lot of shopsmith machines. They're made out of companies from America. They're made in Dayton, Ohio, and just about most of what I use out here is from that or any old CNC. So we just think follow you to do that and you see better, okay? This is a CNC my son gave me that I did the rebuild on, and I got it where it works, and it's long enough to make a one-piece guitar, and it's light enough to do what I need. And what I found out is I use it to make templates. I don't like to cut wood, I don't cut templates, because I'd rather cut the wood by hand. And over here I've got a shopsmith that I took apart. It's the same saw as this one, but it's bigger, you notice. So I cut it in half and stretched it here and put it back together so it can be taller, and I do resaws on it to cut tops. So this is that, and I swapped over to this, put a buffer on that end. This is the overhead router. It's got a place here and put a pin, and there's a pin router. It's got overhead, draft on it. Over here is my smaller CNC machine. And I used to cut the strings out that we use for the square dot machine. And then this machine here has got a sander on this end, a joiner on that end, a table saw here, and I use all that. And got a drawer down here with all the belts and battery stuff. All the different stuff you use for that. This is a sander I built, a flat deck sander. And you can run your stuff across here like this, and it'll get it really nice and flat. And then you can open it up like this, pop this panel off, and you can send stuff under here, and it makes it into a thickness sander. You can adjust the thickness of it with the handle underneath it. Put bits on the side here so you can put stuff on, and you get it just as square as you can with that or that joiner. We just started working on this the other day. I had a bunch of these extra tables, and I put them here, and I got my fret press here, and I just going to put this smooth top on this, or I can use this here, and I got sand here, there, and I got a bunch of this, and fixing to round up with all the different things I got. And it's just a little working area. I got a bunch of net material here. And over here is all the jigs, what you were talking about a minute ago. This would be like the one I used to clamp down and cut out headstock around with.
Yeah, that's the one I saw in the video.
Yeah, this is the one that scares everybody right here. Put that one on, put the neck on it upside down, and run it across that thing with one limb. Yeah, kind of got a little bit of. My dad watched me do that one time, and he said, "Son, I bet that's got a lot of suckers factor to it." And I said, "Yes, sir, it does." But yeah, this is just one shop out here, and I've got a bunch of storage over there and stuff. And around the corner, there's a router table set up, and then there's also a radial arm saw that I use to cut all my frets out. And I made me a jig that I can use to cut frets, and it's the quickest way I can find to do it. I made got the slots and all the things. Cut that on CNC, and then you can put. I've got a pin here and a pin here, and you center the neck up on those two pins, and it'll give you all your frets the exact line on that machine over there. It takes, I watch Texas Toast do that, and if he do it, I can. And the thing with that over there, that thing there works like a pin router. And a lot of my templates are made to where you can use them as a pinner, and you put them on the bottom and work from the bottom. So just a different way to do things. Let's go back in the office.
That was brilliant, Spike.
Thank you, sir.
That was really good. And what I like is
okay.
It definitely shows you talk about your experience of building many things over the years. It definitely shows from your setup, the tools you have, the jigs you've made, that you know what you're doing and can problem.
I appreciate that. Yeah. You know, Daniel, something that blows people's mind is when I tell them how much I've gotten all those woodworking tools out there. The drill press and the saw and the other, the joiner and all that stuff. You go on Facebook Marketplace and you buy shop smiths from people that are, like Grandpa had it and nobody wants it, it's in the way. And the most expensive one I have, I paid $265 for the whole set. That's the big one. It had all the stuff on it. And so the others, I got one of them that was given to me free. I got two that I got for $150. I got both of them. And that's the one I put the big sander on. So I've got $570, I think it is, in all of those machines.
Incredible.
And a lot of people pay that for one sander or something. Dude, have y'all seen the new SawStop bandsaw?
No.
I almost got a hard on.
Well, that's what I love.
Oh, it's the normal thing, you know. It just runs and they touch it with with a little wing. The lock stop. Like I mean, this didn't move. It just stopped. It's got this big lever up on the back where you can reset it. Looks like so it doesn't destroy the blade like the other one does. So because a regular saw stop table saw, it'll destroy the blade if it goes off. But this one didn't look like it did. So, but I seen it at the woodworking show. One of the guys was showing it, and I said, "Wow." There's somebody will sell them, but it won't be me because I won't buy one.
Yeah, right.
Look at this. You think I'm gonna buy one of them? So we get you an angle. We get you a good angle. Okay, see now. You think I'm gonna buy me one of them? Life happens, I done that when I was 17 years old. So yeah, just had to deal with it. It still play kind of the guitar, not very well. Somebody asked me, said, "Why you build guitars?" I said, "Because I can do something else better than I can play them."
Yeah, right. I'm with you. I can definitely, regardless of how good my building is, definitely better than my playing. Yep. So a couple of people in the chat were saying how much we're enjoying your tour. I think we need to get more tours on for sure, and also just the technology you've got for exploring and the cameras moving around. It's very impressive. So look,
some of that in the golf setup, and I said, I'm gonna go over here. I'm just gonna take it with me and put it back over here, and it worked. It's just more fun. I got a new deal coming now. You ready for this? I had to start wearing glasses, y'all see, and so now to wear glasses. I said, at least I don't have to get fussed at now for not wearing my safety glasses because I wear them all the time, because I got good, the safety lens in them. So I've got a deal worked out with Rokid, ROKID, the people that do the glasses with the cameras in them. And it's 4K camera setup, and it should be sending it out any day now. They got me hooked up with a affiliate deal. So if y'all want to buy one, I'll give you a link to get you one. So make a little bit. You can too. You get a discount, I'll get a credit. So yeah.
We were saying off air that when the second Great Guitar Build Off, so 4 or 5 years ago, I remember your weekly streams, the Brotherhood of the Build streams. So you thinking of carrying on with regular streams again now you're back in your workshop?
I do think I want to do that. I need to build watch time for the channel, and I've had some ideas about it. The last time we did some woodshop workshop tours, and we would go like Luther Bills, went to his shop, done a little tour of that, and I want to do that, but I want to do it in a little different way. I also want to kind of cover the shopsmith guys, because there's a bunch of those guys out there that do shopsmith. And so I want to give them a little something. And I'm thinking about doing like a 2-party thing that starts at like 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock or so on Sunday afternoon. It would have a little time about this and that, shopsmith area, and a little bit about this, and then somebody's shop we're going to look at or talk about. Just kind of a all general thing, with some shop tips about how to do something that maybe you haven't seen before. And then we'll have guest people on, because I've already talked to about 6 of them that are really good in their point that they do. And the point is, having somebody a lot better at something than you will always make you better. So if somebody's a whole lot better with these edgeless dies up here, like make this stuff than I am, then that's the guy I'm going to talk to and try to get to come do this. And well, I think you're going to do it for me. So we got that working, and we'll make it all work out. So
I'm sure if anyone can, you'll get the tech sorted so we can see through your glasses when you're doing that as well.
Well, the idea is to get them working to where when I'm doing my videos, I'll be able to do like, working on a fret job here, and I can just hit a button and record when I'm doing a video, and I can record it in. And then, when you're looking at it, you'll be able to see right where my hands are working, what I'm doing. And I won't use it for a lot. I mean, it'll just be a little here and there shot in, but it'll be tight, shots. I was watching Paul's video. That's what I was talking about earlier today. We were talking Paul's video. He's talking about well, some people talk about my language a little construction grade, and I said, yeah, I thought I could be accused of that a long time ago, but now that I'm retired, mine's kind of calmed down, because I had 18 guys that worked for me. I had to let them know what I meant, and sometimes they just didn't understand unless you said F this. They just didn't understand it for some reason. So I was thinking about it, and I said, I'm going to ask Paul one day. I got a question for him. I said, I want to know, Were you that guy on the construction job that would get everybody to come into the corner to look at something so you could show them how something works in a room in a tight little place and then crop dust them all and run for the door? Because I told him, I said, because I'd have done that in a heartbeat. Somebody, I mean, that was just construction, guys. I mean, you couldn't do that anywhere else in work. I mean, go into an office and try that with somebody in the copy room. Okay, I mean. But it was just, you know, you got to understand that we all grew up in different worlds. We all come from different backgrounds, and we all have different things that we've seen and done. And for me, my background's from California to Alaska to here to wherever, and everything I've ever done was fix something. I mean, I made my first invention when I was 8 years old, I think it was. So my dad told me, he said, son, just keep thinking like that. One day you'll figure something out really good. And I said, okay. And never have really hit the big one, but I've hit a few little ones, you know, so that's what you do. Keep struggling.
Well, that's the sort of brain that I find inspiring, Spike.
Well, I hope so. I appreciate it, man. I enjoy being with you guys. I mean, I enjoy the people in this, you know, in the guitar building industry. They're just good folks, most of them. I mean, some of them are really stuck on themselves, and some of them are just really good, and they make you say, well, dang, I want to do everything he does. I mean, don't tell me that you don't want to make something look like Mr. Barlow. If you don't want to make something look like Barlow, something's wrong. That stuff's beautiful. I mean, you know, and there's others that make beautiful stuff. And right now, I got all these guitars building, and somebody asked me why I do so many different ones. I said, well, that's because Gibson made so many different ones my birth year. And I kind of took it as a challenge, and I'm not going to get them all done by, you know, November, September, whatever. I'm going to have one done. And that's the one that's going to be that I'm going to raffle it off when I get done.
So that's why I want to ask. So, because at the moment it looks like, because I saw that video where you had the slab and you were cutting the blanks out. It looks like you're progressing with them all at the same time. The blanks, the next. But is that what's happening now? You're going to focus on one, finish that, do the next one and finish it? Because I'm the sort of person, I've got about 10 guitars not finished in here, most of which are almost finished, and if I just worked on one at a time, they would be finished. I can't do it.
Well, yeah, that's part of it. I had that big slab sitting here, and I said, you know, the best thing I can do is make it in little pieces. So I done all of those at one time, and I said, you know, well, now that I got all them cut, why don't I just go ahead and make all the necks? And so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 necks already cut and made, you know, roughed out. Then, you know, they're not shaped. They're just they all got headstocks, got cut truss rods, and the backs of them are ready to go here, and the only thing they need is this here down here and this right here, and take that off. And that'll happen real fast with that machine out there. You just got to be prepared and not make a mistake. Because there's a video on the channel where I made a mistake. I went too deep on one, and when I did, it cut into it, and it's garbage. There wasn't no fixing it. I mean, when you do something like that, it's garbage. You throw it away. So, you have good ones and bad ones in this deal. You know what I mean? As you learn, and because I, you know, like I say, I'm still learning. Hey, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I appreciate it a lot. So,
is there anything from your birth year you won't build that you don't like?
Well, there's a Rickenbacker and what's the other one that I got that are on the list, but they're way back there. They might not happen. Not because I don't want to, but because I just don't think I'll get that many. I can do all of them. I don't know. Maybe once I got a pretty good flow, and I got all my jigs made, and I got it where I can change from this to that. And you know, the thing about all these Gibsons is every one of them's got a different neck angle. I mean, you got a 4 degree, a 3.5, a 2.5, 2. You know, so you know, like a Les Paul Jr., you know, 2, and the others are, you know, 335 is almost 4. So keeping all that straight and remembering all, you know. But now that the necks are roughed out and just a square block on the end, and this is just a square block, then making these two fit together and carrying on getting this project moving shouldn't take too much longer to go once they get that. So that's why they're all roughed out. The only thing I might do is some of these are a little bit heavier than I wanted, like I said, and I may take weight out of some and put a nice top on it. But then again, the Sycamore's not that bad. So
I thought it looked great in the video you had.
Yeah, so you know, it's not, it's, well, for what I got in the wood, it's, give me a little time to work and practice. And a guy that up at near Asheville, when we had a hurricane here 2 years ago this year, September, and it come through here. We got a lot of rain, a lot of flooding, washed out on the high, like I-40 up here. The interstate got washed out. It's still washed out in sections, and that's been 2 years. But the guy ended up closing up his guitar shop, and losing his lease or whatever. So I ended up buying all his parts that he had left over that I could get. So I got drawers over here full of. Well, I went to go buy 2 or 3 bridges from this guy for some projects. And when I got up there, he had all these parts laying around on this, all covered up on these tables and in boxes. And I looked around at it. And I said, "Man, you gonna get rid of all this?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, how much you take for all of it?" Not thinking he would give me a number that I didn't mind paying. So I ended up bringing home 40 bridges. 6 sets of tuners. I think I got scratch plates, as y'all call them. We call them pick guards here, but y'all call them scratch plates. I think I have about 30 for Stratocasters, and for P basses or J basses, whichever it is, I got 20 or 25 of those. I got a whole box of pickups of all different things in the world, some name brand stuff in boxes, Tim Armstrongs and stuff. I got a bridge that I don't think I've never seen one in my life, and it was called a Trilogy Bridge, and it's made by Hot Shot, not Hot Shot, Hip Shot. Hold on, somebody, there it is right there.
You have to put the unexpected hardware on the guitars you're building then.
Well, that's the point. I mean, I'm not building them to be realistic or historically correct. I'm building them to be what I want to be. So when I seen this in the pile of stuff, Babbitt's full contact bridge system, and then I knew what it was all. We got all the parts and every bit of it. Those retail was like $175 probably, and then he had this thing in there that I was telling you about. So we'll bring this closer to the camera so you can see it a little better. So I want you to look. Oh, sorry. Now, see these little levers? You pick that lever up and this thing moves, and each string can have a tuning of its own. So as you move it to here, this is one tuning, and then you move it to there, and that's another tuning, and then you move it to there, and that's the other. So each string can have 3 different tunings to tune it to. So you can tune the guitar to open G and then this and that. I looked at it and I said, "Now that's some strange stuff." And this was included. It's got a little rust on it here and there. A little bit of rust right in there and right in there. If you've seen the price tag they had on it trying to sell it, you have to use part up there. So no little research.
That looks cool.
That's an expensive piece.
We've talked about bridges like that before, and I think some guitarists want everything. So that's
I've never seen one myself,
and some musicians can use them as well. I've not seen that one, but I can't remember the make. There's another one that's come out recently that does a similar thing that allows you to switch between different tunings on it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how old this is. It's pretty old, I think. It's been a while, been around a while. But Texas Toast this for next year doing their guitar contest, relic guitars.
Oh, really?
And, yeah. So if you build a guitar, it's got to be look relic. So they had 45 guitars in their contest that actually brought their guitar to Texas, to Colorado, to the contest this year. And so if I can work it out next year, and everybody's helping me and stuff, I can go. I'll probably try to go, because going and being with people at something like that's a whole lot better than putting your stuff out for people to look at on the internet. Probably ain't paying much attention to it. So, some people pay attention, but a lot of them don't, and you don't know who does. But anyway, if I was going to build a relic guitar, this thing with rust already on it would be a good start.
Hey, look. So I've got one question then before we go. And just so everyone knows, what we're doing each week at the moment is just having guests on that are people we haven't had on before, people we haven't chatted to before, people that might be building something for the Jurg's Cup. So if you're watching at home and you want to join in with the chat, obviously you can join in with the live chat anytime in the text. But if you want to come on, just message me or Alan. It'd be brilliant. Alan's in charge at the moment of sorting all the dates out. It's going to be every Monday going forward. Be great to have people on. And then once the Jurg's Cup kind of ends in November, once the competition bit happens in November, we can get people back to talk about other guitar things, maybe just as a group, more of a group chat than focusing on one person. So what I was wondering, Spike, is you were saying you might have one done by November. What's the one you're focusing on? Is it that Moderna you were showing us?
Okay. The 335 right over here is the one I'm intending on making sure it gets done for the Jurg Cup. Right. Now, I was going to do that for me, for my guitar, and this thing fell in my lap, and it's an Epiphone Marty Schwartz 335. It's got the push pulls and all that good stuff. And a guy come over here to have me do a setup, and I've done 2 setups on guitars, and I've done the setups, and it's time for him to pay me or whatever. And he said, I got something in the car you might be interested in. And so he went out and he got it and brought it in to me to show it to me. And when he did, he showed it to me, and the necks broke off of it. The headstock broke off. It's Gibson. What else would it be? But it was snapped off. And so I said, I could probably put that back on if I go to work and get busy. So you can look real close, I'm sure. You can see right in here, there's splines here, and then I put a little block in it to cover it where the chunk would come out the edge of it right here. So if you get real close look, let me get a little closer for you. Why do I want to do that, dumb butt? It'd be a lot easier to do this with me. Dumbass. Okay, I don't think you can't see it too much, where I put it back together.
I can't see it on the camera. It looks like a good job to me.
To get just the right angle, you can pick it up, where I put it back together. But, yeah, I wasn't going to just glue it back. I figured if I was going to do it, I was going to go ahead and do it with splines. So I went ahead and put the splines in it. I laid it down on the CNC machine like this, and then I cut the right there with the light shining that direction. I can see them really good right now. Y'all probably can't, but just a little bit, you can barely catch them if I turn just the right angle there. It had chunked the corner off right down here, so I put a little block in there and then two slits. And I just cut it with the CNC, and then put me some wood in there and put it back. But after I ended up with one of those of my own, I said, well, I don't need another one, because to be honest, it's a big-ass guitar. I didn't realize I messed with one before, but I just didn't realize how big it'd be, just in the way. I mean, it don't fit the cases around here hardly much. I mean, it takes up more wall space than anything else. And I said, I got one started, I might as well do something with it useful. So when I finish out, what would it be with a live stream without an air compressor? And the button's way out there, I'm sorry. Sorry. But I decided that what I was going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and do that when they do a raffle. $5 a ticket or whatever for everybody who wants to get in on it. Whatever it brings, and it all goes to the Leukemia Society. So
I must remember.
I'm not keeping anything. The whole project's going to that. So
that's brilliant.
I'm a cancer survivor myself, Daniel, and so it matters to me. I mean, that we can do something to help people and do something, find answers to questions that cause people pain. That's what I'd love to do.
That's brilliant, Spike. I keep meaning to say to Mick that, because I've heard a few people want to raffle theirs off, that maybe on the website there should be just an extra page where you can get the links to all the raffles that people are doing.
One of the guys put his up the other day, and it done good. It got like a couple $1,000, to go to the Leukemia Society. So I mean, that's a good thing. If we can get anything and it can go to that cause and help, then I feel like we've done something good for somebody. It's not for us; it's for somebody else. I mean, whoever gets the guitar, I hope they're happy with what they get. And I'm gonna do my best. So that's all we can do. It'll be my 4th one. What could they expect? When I get done, it'll be the 4th one I finished. I got 8 started, but I haven't finished that many. I'm like you. I got 5 of 58 stacked up around here already, all between there, 3 right there. The bodies and the necks are all done. They just need finishing. but I have decided I want to put some, like, I want to do some binding. I've never done binding myself, so I want to do binding on some stuff, you know, to do something different or to challenge myself. Because making the same guitar, I mean, a Telecaster or Strat, I mean, you bolt the thing together. I mean, it's not that much to. If you can't figure that one out, you got a little problem going, you know. So I can do those. I mean, I can take one of them apart, put it back together. So I know I can build one, you know, especially since there's a neck and a body right there for I made, you know, myself. So some people think make it a lot more technical or harder than it needs to be, and it just doesn't need to be that hard. I mean, just keep it simple sometimes. So, and then I say that. And I'm the worst in the world about building some crazy contraption to do some kind of job. So, yeah.
Hey, so look, post November when the Jurg's Cup's finished, but as we all know, if you're building the Jurg's Cup and you don't get it done in November, keep going. Everyone's there to support you and share. Post November, then Spike, we'll have to get you back on, see a finished guitar, see how your binding's going.
Oh, we're gonna get there. We'll get things done, Daniel. I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate coming out and talking to everybody. I know it's a day change. I don't know how to get a number. I hadn't even looked at how many people are watching. I don't worry about that. If they don't see it, they'll see it later, maybe.
Yeah.
Then you'll be in a different day. I just want people to understand that, you know, just love everybody else. Be kind to people. No need to be a peckerhead every time you go on a Facebook thing and somebody asks a question. You ain't got to be an asshole. Just be honest and help people out. You know, when I ask somebody a question, it's because I need help. I don't do it because I, you know, whatever. It's because I don't know, or I need to make a decision. And, you know, the ADHD thing is this. When I worked, I had 18 guys that worked under me, and I had to worry about what they done. And I had to go by a set of plans to build this great big building. And I didn't have any room to move on anything because I had a set of plans to go by, and this bunch of peckerheads do the work, and I was in between them and had to get it all done. And so once that all went away and it was no set of plans here to work off of, and nobody to tell what to do anymore, that's when I found out I had ADHD, but I never knew it. And my doctor told me, he said, son, you were carrying your ADHD as a superpower. He said, anybody that can run 18 guys, and remember whose birthday it was, and whose grandma's died 3 times, he said, you had a superpower you were using. He said, but when you quit using the superpower, you got to figure out how to channel it. And I said, okay. And he said, find something to do. And so that's what got me, you know, in the shop and on that. Well, finding something to do for me is not a problem because I'm not going to stop. One day y'all hear that Spike stop, but it won't be because I quit working. It'll be because I quit. You know, just done. So I don't know. I've got all these friends in this world and all these people that I know are just looking for things to be good and do the best they can, and just treat people right. That's all I ever ask of anybody. Yeah, don't be a peckerhead.
Yeah, well, I feel like the community around the Jurg's Cup and the Guitar Bros Collective is none of those there. Everyone's there to support each other. So thank you for being here, Spike. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you, anyone that's watching in the future. Hopefully, see you next Monday and see Spike again post-November or in the chat or whenever. You're always welcome back anytime you want. Don't think we've... Oh, have we got Eddie? Is Eddie lined up for next week or is that the week after?
That's next week.
That's next. Great. So we've got Eddie from Electric Lady Guitars and his friend coming on. That'd be a good one because we can talk acoustic guitars. Cool. All right, everyone. See you next week. Thanks again, Spike. Thanks, Alan.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you letting me be here.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Right. Bye-bye.